there, today I'm going to make a card using one of my favorite stamp sets, Crab & Company, which is actually retiring, so there's only about 2 more weeks left to get him. And what I'm going to do is show you how I do some masking as well, I guess reverse masking and masking. So I'm going to use watercolor paper and my StazOn ink pad. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just ink up Mr. Krabby Pants here, and I'm just going to stamp him down. I'm going to cut the paper after I'm happy with what I've got here. So I've stamped my image, and now I want him to be wearing a party hat because it's a birthday. So what I've done is I've stamped the same image just on a piece of computer paper, like just a piece of scrap paper I had, and I stamped it, and then I just cut it out. Because I use computer paper, I cut right on the line, and I just cut out what I need masked. So I'm going to put a hat here behind his eyes, so I'm just going to lay this flat on top and make sure it rests exactly where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to ink up the party hat that comes in this stamp set. And upside down, I'm going to try and stamp this. So I'll stamp that image, and you can see right now it looks pretty messy because it's on the eyes, but as soon as I take off that mask, perfect. You can see that it's behind Mr. Krabby's eyes, so I can get that straight. Another option is to use googly eyes on him, and you wouldn't have to do the masking, but I want to just keep it like this. And the other thing I'm going to do is I want a present in this hand, so I want the present to look like it's behind this claw. So actually I'm going to cheat for this one. Instead of masking, I'm going to stamp his claw just on a piece of the watercolor paper, and I'm going to color it just the same as I would the rest of the crab, but I'm going to cut this out and we're going to pop it up with a present in behind it. So what I can do here is take this present, I don't need to worry about masking, and I'm just going to stamp this on my image how I want it to look. And again, this will be covered up with a popped up hand. Okay, I will be back in a few minutes with this colored and ready for the next step. Okay, so I have Mr. Crab here all colored in. I used real red to color in the body, and then brocade and old olive to color in the other parts. You will notice I colored in this portion of the hand just in case when I pop it up anything can be seen underneath. I like to still have color there. So what I have here is the claw that we stamped on the scrap piece of paper, and I cut it out, and then I just used the edge of the dimensionals, so the edge of this, and I just took a little strip off, and I'm going to put that on the paper. And now you can see I've got some dimension, but it also covers up the fact that you stamp the present right directly on, so you can see the dimension there, and it just kind of gives a nice depth to the card. Now today's card I'm actually going to do square, so I started with an 8.5 by 4 1/4 inch piece of craft cardstock, and then I just scored it at 4 1/4, so I've made myself a square card that'll fit in a standard size envelope. And like I usually do with craft, I'm just going to drag my edge along the Whisper White ink pad just to soften it a little bit. And you could always do that too with the layers of cardstock if you wanted to, but I just like to do that on the craft itself. And now my inside layer here, I have a piece of old olive cardstock that is 3.5 by 3.5, and my real red, which is 3 by 3, and then my brocade blue, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I've already attached those, and what I'm going to do is just do some paper piercing around the edge. So I'm going to take my piercer and my matte pack, and I'm just going to line up this black line here along the edge of my card. And because I know I'm going to have a photo corner, the double photos from the photo mat punch on each of these 2 corners, I'm not worried if they line up nicely here, but I do want my dots to line up nicely at this end. So I'm going to line up the black along each edge, and now I'm just going to actually poke every other dot. I'm just going to come along here, and then when I get to this end, I'm not, as I say, not too worried about how it ends up. And then if you're not familiar with using a matte pack, all I'm going to do now is just take my matte pack, reline it up so my dots are over top of each other, and then my black line is along the edge, and then I just keep piercing around. So I'll finish this and be right back. Okay, you can see here that I have attached my layer on top. I finished my paper piercing all around the outside, and I've attached this layer to my card, but what I did in random holes just along the outside of the card were put in some of the old olive brads just to add some appeal to the card. And now I have my 2 photo corners. So the punch I used is the Stampin' Up! Photo Corner punch. And then what you do is the smaller piece gets layered on the bigger piece, or what you can do. So I've attached those already, and now I'm just going to poke a hole in the corner, eyeballing it, and I'm going to put one of the old olive brads in each of these. So the brads come with 4 colors in a package, and normally they're nicely sorted, but when kids get a hold of them, sometimes they get mixed up a bit, but that's okay. So I've got my couple of old olive brads, stick those through the holes, just open up the backing here, you can see. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to my card, 1 in each corner here. You can see I'll just attach those on and we'll get to the inside of the card. Okay, so my layers are all on. You can see my photo corners with the old olive brads, and then on the inside I just did a really quick and easy brocade blue layer of cardstock, which is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then another layer of craft, which is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then I just punched out using just an 1 1/4 inch square, my 1 inch circle, and then I stamped the cupcake there and just colored it in on the watercolor paper with a 3/4 inch circle punch, and it says the good old snappy birthday. Hope you like it, and thanks for joining me today.